Hello, and welcome to my Mage Guide. Today, we have a special guest with us. Please welcome the Executive Mage at Arcane Brilliance, who will be discussing how popularity excludes discovery. Her name is Jane, and welcome to her TED Talk.
Hello, I'm Jane, and I'd like to address the problem of popular specs excluding and even persecuting less popular specs, and how that has affected the player base to fear the joy of discovery. Let's go back in time to Season 3 of Dragonflight so you can observe history repeat itself. This was the popular spec. It's copied from the top mages in the world, and it was backed up with top sims, world-first guilds, and practical application. Mathematically superior to any other permutation of the spec, and was so deemed a ramp spec. So, as in times before, that spec is the best. And it would be completely foolish to choose anything else, because that would be a choice away from the best. But during Season 3 of Dragonflight, I ran mythics with every spec in the game, including arcane mages. 1,781 other people tolerated me long enough to push a key with them. Over the course of 475 runs, just on one of many of my arcane mages that did mythics. Of the ramp specs I encountered, I beat most of them. And I wasn't using the popular spec. In fact, the spec I used operates under a different type of playstyle that feels near identical to Spellslinger. The spec has been hidden there the whole time. So imagine my excitement when I saw an entire subspec that felt tailored just to me. Finally, I thought, I can get those talents I've coveted from ramps, and now they can use Sunfury as their ramp. But my beta excitement turned to concern when I saw these talents popping up. Taking a ramp out of a ramp subspec and trying to smash it into Spellslinger? And so spawned my investigation. From then on, I only ran mythics with other Spellslinger mages that were using this ramp variation. And here are some of the results out of approximately 15 runs with the set criteria. This data was recorded only if I felt the mage was genuinely trying and didn't die a lot. Also, the tank had to hold threat, if not, the data would be skewed due to excessive defensives being used. Some of the key takeaways from this graph are the amount and length of DPS compared to the ramps, as well as the overall damage done difference. This one has 171 million difference. Here is another, same thing. Every so often, the ramp will win the battle on bosses. But the war is definitively won by the Spellslinger without Siphon Storm. And another, same thing. Here, a 278 million difference. That's the health of an entire boss. To put this into perspective, the damage difference is so great. If you soloed a boss somehow and did 100% of the damage, I still did more damage before the boss was pulled. I could literally sit out of the boss fight and would be above the ramp's damage. We need specs that specialize in boss DPS and specs that rack up enemy forces percentage. So, then I ask you, if this number is superior to this number, popularity demands you switch. And if you don't, I am somehow justified in shunning you. Or, maybe, just maybe we can explore this spec together. Not as ramp spec versus barrage spec, or elitist versus noob, but as mages. As brothers and sisters. And turn Spellslinger into the fast-paced, engaging, deeply nuanced, ramp-free spec I know it can be. And turn our attention to Sunfury, and build a Sunfury worthy of the ramp name. Let's give Sunfury an identity, A name that strikes fear into the heart of an enemy. A competitive raid build that will leave raid leaders searching for some Sunfuries on progression fights. And a spec that encourages discovery. A spec that can proudly look back in their history and say, we started as Spellslingers, but now we are Sunfury. We, as mages, did this together. Thank you for your time.